Infinix have been shocking the world with their insane value for money smartphones for a few years now, and their Zero series lineup has always been their most premium set of devices, which leads us to this, the Infinix Zero 30, which packs in more specs and features than you could ever possibly imagine for a seriously good price. Such as a more than capable chipset, a liquid cooling system, a very bright curved AMOLED display, dual speakers, a large battery, fast charging, a premium selfie camera which offers 4K 60fps video recording as well as a physical flash, a triple rear camera system which consists of a 108 megapixel camera and a ring LED aura light flash, and even packs in an IP certification. In addition to the device itself, there's a jelly case in the box as well as a charging cable and a 68 watt charging block. This is TechNick and this is my full review of one of the best upper mid-range smartphones that 2023 has to offer, the Infinix Zero 30 5G. The Infinix Zero 30 has recently released in the global market with a starting price of around $290 for the base 8GB RAM 128GB storage variant, with the top-end 12GB RAM 256GB storage model costing around $300. The device sticks to Infinix's typical design, but it now looks more premium thanks to a few detailed touches, such as a glossy gold trim wrapping around the camera lenses as well as the entire camera module. This camera island sits on a curved glass backplate which comes in 3 different colors. You can either pick it up in the color which I have, known as Golden Hour, Fantasy Purple, which has the same glass finish, or Rome Green, which has a vegan leather design. Their plastic side frames match the color of their backs aside from the Rome Green color, which has the same gold trim as Golden Hour. It comes in at just 7.9mm thick and weighs just 185 grams, which is impressive considering it has a glass back. It also manages to pack in an IP53 certification for dust and splash protection. The glass version's backplates are protected by Gorilla Glass 5, while all 3 colors have the same screen protection, that being Gorilla Glass 5 as well, which is impressive to say the least for a phone at this price. It also has a flagship-like display, that being a curved 6.78-inch AMOLED display, which sits at a Full HD Plus resolution and packs in 388 pixels per inch. It's capable of displaying over 8 billion colors and has a wide DCI-P3 color space, not to mention it supports HDR10, HDR10+, and Widevine L1 content. It offers a whopping 144Hz screen refresh rate, which can be dropped to 120Hz or even 60Hz. It's silky smooth when set to its max refresh rate, but unfortunately doesn't make use of any LTPO tech. It does, however, pack in an impressive 360Hz touch sampling rate, and what's even more surprising is its inclusion of 2 160Hz PWM dimming, which is not something you would expect to see in a phone at this price point. It's also capable of reaching a max screen brightness of 950 nits, which is quite a bit higher than other phones in this price bracket. When it comes to software, the Zero 30 makes use of XOS 13.1 skinned over Android 13. It has its fair share of bloatware pre-installed, but most of which can thankfully be removed. There is unfortunately no Google Discover on the left of the home screen, which has now been replaced by something called Zero Screen, but the device does come packed in with full Google Services support, which allows for full access to the Play Store as well as gestures for Google Assistant. But one of the best things about the Zero 30 is Infinix's new voice assistant, which you can use in addition to Google Assistant, and it is known as Flagship. Flagship is fully powered by ChatGPT, which should be more in-depth than any other voice assistant currently on the market. It works incredibly well and can even write a full essay for you on the go. The software itself is simple and easy to use. It has a clean app drawer, notification shade, and control center. It boasts large folders so you can tap directly on an app within a folder to open it, and even has the ability to flick between all of your home screen folders once you open up a folder, which I think is absolutely genius. There are also endless ways to customize your home screen, which you don't typically see within other software skins, and there are plenty personalization options which you can change to your liking within settings. And to keep your phone running is a large 5000 mAh battery, which can be topped up in just 51 minutes thanks to its fast 68 watt wide charging speeds. Not to mention there is also a new vacuum chamber liquid cooling system to keep your phone cool while charging or running demanding tasks. The Infinix 030 is powered by a TSMC-made 6nm MediaTek Dimensity 8020 chipset with a max core clock speed of 2.6 GHz and makes use of an integrated Mali G77 MC9 GPU, which can no doubt run all of your favorite games and benchmarks. And I was actually quite surprised to see it score higher than average across multiple different benchmark tests. It also packs in up to 12 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM, which can be increased to 21 gigs thanks to memory fusion, as well as up to 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. And when putting all these specs to the test by playing some of our favorite games, we were able to get an average of 122 frames per second while playing Real Racing 3 thanks to that capable chipset and 144Hz display. But when playing Call of Duty Mobile, there is no option for ultra frame rate mode, so the device can't reach 90 FPS like we see within other phones. I really hope this will be fixed with a future software update, but until then, we were able to reach a solid 60 FPS when set to very high graphic quality and max frame rate mode. And when playing Genshin Impact, which is a very demanding game by the way, we were able to get an average frame rate of around 42 FPS when set to max settings, which may not seem amazing, but is rather impressive for such a well-priced device. The 030 also makes use of Bluetooth 5, NFC, dual SIM 5G and Wi-Fi 6, so connectivity is no issue here. There's also a USB 2.0 Type-C port, decent haptic feedback, as well as dual stereo speakers with support for DTS sound profiling. So let's go ahead and give them a listen. The Infinix 030 is certainly above average when it comes to speakers, gaming, and benchmark scores, but what it truly thrives at is camera performance. So let's start things off with that impressive selfie camera system. It has a single punch hole at the top center of its display, which packs in a 1 in 2.76 inch sized 50 megapixel ISOCELL JN1 sensor with an aperture of f2.45 and has phase detection autofocus. It also makes use of a dual micro slit LED flash, which sits in the top left bezel. We'll get to selfie performance with the flash soon, but let's kickstart things off with selfie day photos. Selfies during the day come out great when set to native 50 megapixels, but when binned down, things are a tad oversaturated. Portrait mode is okay, however edge detection isn't perfect, but overall I'm quite pleased with selfie day performance.
There is bokeh video when using the selfie cam on the brand new Infinix 035G, however it is limited to just 1080p and 30 FPS. There is also an ultra steady video mode option when recording with the selfie cam, which is awesome for those action vloggers out there, though it is capped at 1080p and 30 FPS. But arguably the best thing about this device when using the selfie cam is the ability to be able to record 4K 60 FPS selfie video, which is something you barely see on flagship devices, let alone mid-range devices such as this. It is truly a vlogger's dream.
Recording 4K 30 FPS selfie video at night comes out fairly bright but suffers from noise grain. 4K 60 FPS selfie video at night is just far too dim, but that's expected at this frame rate. But 4K 60 FPS is a lot more bearable when you enable that physical flash, and things come out a lot brighter, though noise grain is still apparent. And using the flash to record bokeh selfie video at night looks fantastic. Edge detection still isn't perfect, but results are very bright with minimal noise grain. The flash is great to use when taking selfie portrait photos at night too, but unfortunately there is no night mode option when set to portrait mode. Using night mode without portrait mode comes out pretty average, however things come out incredible when enabling that physical LED flash. One of the main selling points of this device is no doubt selfie camera performance, and I have to say Infinix have nailed it. Photos come out fantastic whether it being day or night, and the flash certainly helps when taking snaps in low lit situations. That said, the best thing about this selfie camera is, for sure, its ability to record 4K 60 FPS selfie video, which isn't something you typically see on flagship devices, let alone mid-range devices such as the 030. But now it's time to shift our focus to those back camera sensors. It has a triple camera setup on its back, which consists of an ultra-wide, a main, and a depth sensor. The 2 megapixel depth sensor uses a Galaxy Core GC02M1 sensor and has an aperture of f2.4. The 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera uses an ISOCELL 3LS sensor, has an aperture of f2.2, a 120-degree field of view, and uses fixed focus. And the main camera is an impressive 1 in 1.67 inch sized 108 megapixel ISOCELL HM6 sensor with an aperture of f1.65 and makes use of PDAF as well as optical image stabilization. This isn't something you usually see within such a well-priced device. And rounding off this setup is a very bright Aura Light LED flash in the shape of a ring, which we'll get to a little later on, but for now, let's get into some day photos. There is no macro mode or macro camera here, but the ultra-wide sensor does a decent job when close to a subject. The ultra-wide camera also takes a great shot when used normally, however it does look a tad washed out. The main camera at native 108 megapixels looks fantastic, even on a bit of a gloomy day, and when binned down, things come out filled with even more color and detail. What surprised me quite a bit was the ability to take a 3x lossless zoom shot using in-sensor zoom, and results are impeccable. 5x digital zoom still retains most of the detail, and even though 10x is the max zoom, things actually come out on a flagship level. Tonal range is a bit off when taking a snap of me using the main camera, but when set to portrait mode, tonal range is slightly fixed and edge detection is on point thanks to that depth sensor. There is also a bokeh video mode which does decently in terms of depth and edge detection, but it's limited to just 1080p resolution. However, there really isn't a need for a bokeh mode when video comes out fantastic at 4K resolution, making for a nice natural depth of field. You can record 4K 60 FPS, which isn't something you typically see on such a well-priced device, and while it comes out crystal clear, stability is far from perfect. There is an ultra steady mode when using the main camera, which is limited to 1080p resolution. It fixes up stability, but in turn comes out a bit jittery. You can also use the ultra steady mode with the ultra wide camera, which is again very stable, but suffers from focusing issues. The max frame rate when recording with the ultra wide is 30 FPS, but the good news is that you can actually record 4K video with the ultra wide sensor. However, stability is seriously lacking here. Recording 4K ultra-wide video at night comes out brighter than I was expecting, but light noise isn't handled all that well. Light noise is slightly better when recording 4K video with the main camera, things are more detailed, and the overall scene is brighter too. But things come out a tad too grainy when recording a human subject at night. However, video looks fantastic when you enable that Aura Light LED flash, even if colors come out a bit too warm for my liking. Unfortunately, you can't use the flash when taking a photo in portrait mode, and there is no night mode option for it either. But you can use a night mode when taking a regular shot and things come out great. Enabling the flash once again makes things brighter and detail is booming, but unfortunately tonal range is all over the place and colors are way too warm. Night mode is average when taking an ultra wide photo, but looks a lot better when using the main camera, which leads to some pleasing results. I was once again surprised by how well the 3x lossless zoom works even at night. 5x digital zoom does a more than decent job at night too, and handles light noise quite well. And while 10x zoom takes the biggest dip in detail, you can still make out exactly what's going on here, and again light noise is handled decently. The Infinix 030 5G is most likely the best camera smartphone for its price. It has plenty focal ranges to play around with and boasts fantastic lossless zoom. Video may not be the most stable, but the fact that there is an option for 4K 60 FPS video recording when using the back or front camera is mind-blowing to say the least. It may skip out on a few flagship specs such as its chipset, but it feels solid, looks incredible, performs on a flagship level, and costs just a fraction of the price. Let me know your thoughts on another one of Infinix's insane value for money smartphones in the comment section down below. This is TechNick, and I'll catch you in the next one.